Stay tuned for today's Antidote, brought to you by the Renegade Success Network. Today's Antidote features a healthy dose of thought-provoking insights and information for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and nonprofit professionals. Each day since March of 2020, this program has offered that one thing to help you continue on your own unique pathway to success. And now, Renegades, we bring you Bob Graham and Tom Brush.
Monday.
I like the fact you tell us what day it is. That's especially after the time change and all that. People get confused. So
Yes, if you're playing the game with us today, because I was listening to the radio yesterday because my car clock was not set right, and they didn't say the time on the hour for the first 2 hours, and I was quite annoyed. So if you're just checking in and you missed yesterday, it's Monday, March 15th. It is 8:05 East Coast time. There you go. So
thanks for
traffic and weather coming up on the 7s, and then we'll get back to sports talk.
Yeah, you do want to be a TV broadcaster. There's no doubt, which is actually a really good thought for our conversation this week. So good morning, everyone. I'm Tom Brush. Like I know my name. That's Bob Graham, and this is today's Antidote, our daily broadcast where we try to help bring you that one thing, the one thing that can help you continue to move forward. You may use it today. It may not be till next week or next year. And it'll be one thing that you'll have available that you can think about to help you keep taking your next steps along your own unique pathway to success. And while we'll have a discussion about our topic, we hope that you will participate. Please share in the comments some of your thoughts. And if you'd like to share your one thing, please feel free to put them in, whether you're watching it live or if you're watching the recording later in the day. So with that, I'm going to share a little bit about our topic, which is what's possible. What are the things that are possible in the work that you do or in your business or in your wildest dreams? Because I think so often we don't always think about that. And before we get to that, Bob, do you want to tell them briefly about our upcoming workshop?
Sure, I can do it briefly. We have a workshop on Monday, March 22nd, 2 of them actually, 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. about eliminating your obstacles. Okay, back to the program, Tom.
That was quick. Do you want to tell them how they can sign up?
Yes, you can go to the Facebook page and sign up, or you can go to a link I'm going to put in the chat in about 30 seconds. And we'd love to see you there. All kidding aside, it's a really great workshop. We've done this with a number of people, and it really works, and we'd love to share it with you. And because we care and because we want you to head into the second year of the pandemic, because we are in the second year, we want to make it super easy for you so there's no fee. That's right, there's no fee. So there you have it, Tom.
Very well done. Thank you. Yes, I would encourage you that, one of the challenges, I think, is we maybe set dreams, think about possibilities, imagine what it might be like. And typically what happens, obstacles get in our way and our dreams get forgotten. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. Today, when we're thinking about what's possible, we want to talk a little bit about what do you imagine? And I wonder how often people actually think about that. Think ahead to say, what if this was perfect, what would it be like? What are your thoughts on that, Bob?
I find that it's one of the things when I'm working with people that most surprises them about what we do. And it's sometimes difficult for people to even envision that magic wand kind of thing, right? Hey, let me wave the magic wand. You wave the magic wand, all those problems, all the obstacles, everything's out of your way. What's possible? And sometimes people are like, I can't do that. No, but I got to worry about my mortgage, or I got to worry about my childcare. No, for 5 minutes, I want you to let go of all that. I want you to just be in the phase of anything is possible. Because in reality, anything is possible. And all the obstacles that we face are not insurmountable. Now, they may take a lot of work to get past. It may take a lot of effort and thought and planning and figuring our way, but anything truly is possible. And I've seen it again and again and again. We have a Renegade Success Network member, Tom, who told me that the dream was to work one week and be off the next week. And I said, okay, what would that take? And we worked on it. And within a month, it was in action. And it's not that, it wasn't like we had to change a whole lot of stuff. We had to just think about what needed to shift. And I think that what if game, that wave the magic wand game, is a great game to play for us. And I think most people play it at the beginning of the year or after a major crisis is resolved. They don't do it often enough. And I find for me, playing the what if game, the what's possible once a week, really does open doors to me. So I played it this week with myself. And the game that I played this morning was, how many people can we get to the workshop? And the what if number was, what if 100 people show up? How would that be? It's like, oh, that's never going to happen, Bob. That's not. No, wait, time out. I'm playing this game. And because of that, it's led me to do different things this week. And that's what, to me, the what if game really does, is it gives you an access point to going into areas where you typically won't think, because we have so many limiting beliefs.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the challenge is we think about that, but that's all we do is think about it. You know, we imagine, okay, wouldn't it be great if I did this? Or what if my business looked like this? What if the team I led worked this way? What if my organization operated this way? And I think we think about it a lot. What I don't think we do is is truly believe that it is as possible as we imagine it will be. We think it's like a dream. You know, it's just, oh yeah, it's out there, and wouldn't that be nice? And the challenge is, I think we think that somebody is truly going to wave a magic wand and it's just going to happen. Rather than us saying, okay, if that is what is truly is going to happen, what do I need to do? What are the steps I need to take? How do I need to figure it out? And rather than looking at obstacles as roadblocks, how do we look at obstacles as opportunities to do something different? To look at it in another way. And so I think that becomes really, you know, the challenge. And I would say you're right. We have to always reevaluate what's possible. Because again, everything's going to change, right? We may think that this is what we truly desire. And we get along the way and we get closer and closer to it and be like, okay, now I desire something different. And how do I then continue my journey just with different steps?
Let me get a quote from Tim in. Nothing is impossible. The very word says I'm possible, from the great Audrey Hepburn. I say that like I know her. I've never met her. Probably be really hard now. But guess one day I might meet her. But
a wax museum. You could meet a likeness of her.
That's it. I've never been to a wax museum. Have you?
No.
Okay.
Possible, but I have not.
We probably don't need to wax about that now, do we?
Definitely not.
See what I did there?
I did catch that.
It's
Monday morning, and I'm a little on the slower side.
I was going to say everything feels off. The lights hitting differently. It's just not. It's not fun. And well, this is the day that has the most car crashes of the whole year statistically. Like right now, while we're doing this, there are people out crashing their cars because the light's different. It's going to hit the highway in a different place, and they're going to be all messed up. People are late with their kids and all that. This is the biggest crash day of the year.
It's not because they're adjusting their clock so that it fits for the right time.
Could be that. I've done that before.
Yes. And back to our topic of the day.
Oh, yes. Well, what is possible? And I think it's fitting, Tom, when we think about the time change, that there is a certain amount of possibility. I remember Friday and Saturday talking to a lot of people, including the triplets next door, who were telling me they couldn't wait for the time change because it was going to be late it was going to be light later, which meant it was going to be warmer and they could play more outside. And they saw the possibilities. And I'm thinking in my head, it's giant pain, it's going to change everything around. But they're like, wow, this is really fun. And they said to me that they remembered it this year. In the past, they didn't remember it because they're 9.
Mm-hmm.
And they approached this change with excitement because it was something new and something fresh. Do we do that in our work day? Do we approach the morning and say, boy, this is Monday morning. I have a chance today to make anything I really believe is possible. So often I go into the work day and go, okay, it's another work day. I got 3 appointments. I got to do this. I got to make sure I pay this bill. Okay, 7 more hours till the end of the day. 6 more hours till the end of the day. Okay, it's lunchtime. 2 more hours. And I don't think I'm alone. Now, that's not every day. But
Right.
there are those days. And on those days, I'm trying to convince myself more and more, hey, ooh, take the possibility pill. What could you do with this day? If you wanted to really have power in this day, and I know I've mentioned it before, Tom, I've had some health issues over the years. There have been some times when I was recovering from heart surgery where it wasn't clear to me whether I was going to work again. And you want to talk, I can remember a day after heart surgery where I walked to the mailbox to get the mail, which was, I don't know, maybe 70 feet. Got there, it was blazing hot. It was July. Couldn't make it back. Too far to walk. Sat there for like 45 minutes. It's like, I got to get back before my wife gets home from work. She's going to kill me for going so far. And I went like 10 feet, stopped, 10 feet, stopped. What was possible that day to me was I could get to the mailbox and get back. And it took a lot of work. But it also was one of those days where once I did that, I knew I was going to be okay. Once you do something, and I think that's the same thing in business. Once you make that first really awkward sales call, once you lose that first client that you thought was going to be with you forever, once you realize that that marketing campaign you thought was going to be so great doesn't work, and you find the next thing, that's when what's possible really becomes real.
Because we haven't had that experience before, right?
Right.
It's all new to us. And until we have that experience and have the opportunity to learn from it, we just haven't done it. We only have done what we have done. And so once we take those steps and figure out if what we think is possible is actually really possible, and we make steps towards it, now we'll better understand what is it? What are the things we need to do? You want to share this quote? Is that why
I did. I'm sorry, I hit the button fast. I'm a little jumpy today. This comes from Tim. Anyone thinking about this, our Eliminating Your Obstacles workshop, do it. These workshops are really amazing. And unlike any other workshop I've been to, the interaction is personal and meaningful, very worthwhile. That's an amazing testimonial, Tom, huh?
It is. It is. And I think it's one of those things that I think that's one of the challenges today is that people tell you what they have done, typically. Let me tell you all the things that I've done and where I'm at, and you try to figure out how it fits within what you do. I think what we try to do is say, what is your exact situation? And how can you think about it differently? How can you try to come up with your own answers because of the questions we ask or the thoughts that we have? And I think that's the challenge sometimes, is that we don't think about what's possible because we're limited by something. And until someone actually asks us, we don't know. You know I've talked about one client before where the goal was, how can I focus on the things that really matter when I have all these other things, and not only that matter, but the things that I enjoy doing. And I know that if I enjoy doing them and they really matter, it's going to help our organization move forward. And until we had the conversation, they were stuck in, yeah, that's a dream. It'll never be that way. When you talk through it and ask questions and think about things in a different light, now what's possible doesn't seem so impossible. It seems like, well, that's interesting. That's getting me closer to where I want to be. Okay, what's the next step? That's going to get me closer to the next thing I want to be. And I think that's so much the challenge for us is we look at the distance between where we are and what's possible. And it seems unimaginable that we could ever traverse that. Yet, when we look at it in another way, we can see, well, if I do this, I can make progress. If I can do that, I can make progress. Always thinking about, like, what's my next step to help me get there? And I think for so many of us, we don't have the time or the inclination or the truly belief that of what's possible can happen to really make those things, allow us to achieve them. And so we get stuck, we get overwhelmed, and we let some obstacle, maybe huge, maybe tiny, stand in our way of achieving what we want to achieve.
Well said, Tom. I'm going to put another quote from Tim. Open heart surgery is a life-changing situation. Boy, I can tell you all about that. It gives you a whole new perspective on life and what you're going to do with it. I had mine in 2002, but I don't necessarily recommend it as a way to get new perspective. I've had twice, Tim, and I do not recommend it.
Man, I feel like I'm left out, and I don't want to be included. So
I was going to say, this is one you don't. Open heart surgery, it's gotten a lot better over the years, but back in those days, it was cracking open your chest, and yeah, good times. Don't recommend it. But here's the thing. Before I had my first heart surgery, there was real fear that I wasn't going to live for more than another year. So part of the surgery was the doctor and I talked about it, and we talked about what was possible. You know, what can you do after the surgery? What would recovery look like? How long will it take you to feel good again? I remember him saying 3 to 4 months before you feel back to anything close to normal. And it was like, okay, that's the goal. And I remember he said, most of the people stay in the hospital 5 to 7 days. I swore I was going to be out in 5 days. I swore. And guess what? I was out in 5 days. And it was sheer willpower. It's like, give me the range. I want the low end.
Right.
And I remember 2 days after the surgery, the nurse was like, you just won't stop. I mean, you know, you have to walk around to get your strength up and keep walking. I'm dragging my wife with my little IV bottle, and we're walking around with your butt sticking out. It was quite an experience. But all the way through, I knew it was possible that I could get back to the way life was for me. I was certain of it. And I think that's what we lack in business. I don't always have that certainty in business because unlike a medical procedure where they can tell you pretty much all the steps along the way, business isn't like that. There isn't someone who can tell you with perfect certainty, this is exactly what you need to do, which is one of the things you and I work with people on. It's not about being certain. It's about taking a step, any step, because even if it's a step that takes you in the wrong direction, you still learn something that can take you towards the right direction. The worst thing is inaction.
Correct. And I would imagine that even the surgeon isn't 100% certain that it's going to follow those steps. What they have is a success path based on what they've had experience, what their knowledge is, what the perspective is. They believe that if we do this, and then 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 we do this, we will get a result. Result isn't always what they expect. And I think, what do? They have to then step back and say, okay, what did I learn from this process? Where can we go back to each step and say, what went well, what didn't go as planned? You know, because we all know the statistics I'm sure are out there is that it doesn't always work exactly the way we thought. Things happen,
Don't
right?
tell Tim and me that.
Well, you are proof that there is a success path. That when they take these steps, they can get to where they want to go. And I think that's the same thing with any other person who's trying to get to where they want to get to, is figuring out what is that success path and then taking the steps. And after every step, understanding where they at and how does that apply to the next step. And then the impossible seems more possible, which in reality it is. I'm sure when they first started with heart surgery, they weren't 100% clear on the success path.
No.
And they had to figure that part of it out. And then they say, okay, well, now that we have a path that has been successful, how do we replicate it? And how do we learn to do it differently? I'm sure the technology and the techniques that they used the first time are different from the 100th time, are different from the millionth time, and will be different 5 years from now, because they're always learning and always trying to find new knowledge or new experience. And they see it with a different perspective. So what is real can be very different and still be successful.
So Tom, what's your one thing today?
You know, my one thing is, and I'm going to put this in the group because I think it's an important question. What do you imagine? If you had a magic wand, because I think until we imagine it, we have no idea what it could be. And we can't even believe that it could become true. And I think when we share it with others, now, one, there's a little bit of accountability. Two, there are people who are going to be willing to help, to say, like, what can I do to help you get from where you are to truly what you want to be? So I want our members, and even people not, to think about, people who aren't in our Ring of Renegades Facebook group, to think about, if someone could wave a magic wand. Bob has a magic wand today. He is going to wave it.
I like this game.
He waves it every morning. So he is giving you the power to imagine what it is that you truly desire for your work, for your business, maybe even for your life. Although we're not life coaches, I think sometimes the pathway still can work, because you have to first dream it. You have to first imagine, what could it be like? That it doesn't have to be the way it is. So I want you to think about that. And hopefully some people will share that within our Ring of Renegades Facebook group. So if you'd like to be a part of that conversation, please join us in the Ring of Renegades Facebook group if you're not already there. It's easy to do. Just go to Facebook, search for Ring of Renegades, and then ask to join. Now, it is a private group, so we're going to ask you, why are you a renegade? And then you can become a part of this group. And the reason it's private is because we don't want to we want you to feel comfortable sharing not only what your dreams and desires are, but also, and we're going to talk about this in the workshop, what are the obstacles that are going to get in your way? And so, but today, I want you to solely focus on what is possible. What do you imagine that your business, your work, your organization could be like? That's my one thing.
I couldn't even add to that if I tried. No, I love the idea of waving the magic wand. And if you've never done this, this is such a freeing activity. And what I would recommend is, don't do it while you're doing other stuff. Don't be doing it while you're driving or while you're paying bills or checking your email. Literally take like 5, 10, 15 minutes, maybe even a half hour, and walk away from everything. Go outside, get in the sun, go into a private place in your home or your office, and just really reflect, because it's amazing what we can come up with. I would also encourage you to take a notepad and something to write with, because if you open your mind to what's possible, you will start to have some amazing ideas, and they are worth capturing. Just thinking them isn't enough. So capture them on a sheet of paper, and then please share them with all of us, because I find that when Tom shares what's possible with me, it inspires me to take my game to a higher level. So we can all help all ships rise in a high tide. We can help everyone's game be upped just by putting those in there.
And can I make one caution?
Please.
Because here's one pitfall that I see. People will look at other people's dreams and evaluate, make comparisons, judge that theirs aren't as whatever as someone else's. And that's not what it's about. As I hope you all know within this group, it's about what's real for you. What, based on where you are, what your knowledge is, what your experience, your perspective, what's real for you is what matters. What's real for somebody else matters. And we shouldn't judge whether ours is, we can get into that should have, could have, would have, mine isn't as good, I don't feel worthy, all of those things that are really just obstacles. So feel free, feel confident, feel positive about this is your dream. It's not what I want for you. It's not what Bob wants for you. It's what they want for you. It's so important or what you want for yourself. That's what matters. All the rest of us are just, our goal is to help you get there, not to feel like you need to compare to somebody else. So
Tom, you're saying that if I talk about being like a national talk show host, that I can put that in there and I won't be ridiculed, hopefully?
Not by me.
Okay, because that's one of my dreams. Now, it seems a little out of possibility, but you know what? I'm going to put it in there. Because who knows? Maybe there's someone who knows someone at a network and they're looking for a tall, dorky guy to do a talk show. It could happen. I'd bring you with me, Tom. I promise. It wouldn't be me alone.
Thanks. I appreciate that. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us today. Thanks so much for being a part of our conversation about dreaming about what's possible. Because it's a conversation we need to have with ourselves more often. Less and more often about the possibilities and not why they can't happen. So we hope to see you inside the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. We also hope to see you at our workshop next Monday. And
we have one more thing we have to mention, Tom. Friday is going to be our 1-year anniversary of doing this program, and we're going to do something special. You want to be there at 8 a.m. Eastern time on Friday because it's going to be something completely amazing, right? It's going to be a what-if moment.
Episode 278, I believe. I have my math right. Hard to imagine.
You are correct. I just did the math too. Had to use my fingers. Could you see that?
I did the same thing. So I just did it down below so nobody could pay. All right, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you inside the Ring of Renegade Facebook group, or we'll see you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern time for the next edition of today's Antidote. Have a great day, everyone, and we will see you soon. Are you struggling to make your vision a reality? Are you stuck and don't know what to do next? Are fear and doubt holding you back? The Renegade Success Network will help you determine the next steps on your pathway. Here is some of what you will get. Create your pathway call to start you on a better path. Unlimited laser solution sessions to keep you from getting stuck. Nurture your network events to build your network with other successful leaders. Monthly Renegade challenges to prepare you for what lies ahead. The Renegade Success Vault, giving you access to videos, tools, and tips on specific topics anytime you need them. And the Renegade Success Network community, an exclusive Facebook group of like-minded renegades, all working towards achieving their goals. You have a choice. Do it yourself and fumble forward slowly and alone. Or join the Renegade Success Network and be part of a community built to help you find your own pathway. Join today at renegadesuccessnetwork.com. Act now and jumpstart your journey on your own pathway to success.